to end at the end of this year, and I wanted to make sure and thank you for your time and participation for that.
Yeah, so should we go
Thank
ahead
you.
and open the meeting and just acknowledge that we don't have a quorum?
Okay, let's do
All
that.
right, very good. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. I have it that it is 12:08, is that correct?
Yes.
For the Ventura County Climate Emergency Council regular meeting today, Tuesday, November 29th. Just starting a little late. We're conducting this via Zoom and telephonically, and currently we do not have a quorum, and so we can open the meeting, but we cannot take action on anything that needs to be action because we're missing at least one more member of this council. So in response to the declared state and local emergencies due to the novel coronavirus and limited public access to the Hall of Administration, consistent with the governor's executive order N-29-20, this Ventura County Climate Emergency Council meeting will be conducted via Zoom and telephonically. And so let's go ahead and have a roll call, please.
Councilmember White.
I'm here.
Councilmember Ferris is absent. Chair Munoz-Schnapp.
Here.
Councilmember Kesley, absent. Councilmember Gorola, absent. Councilmember Para. I don't think she has joined. Vice Chair Chavez.
Here, thank you.
Councilmember Baldwin.
Here.
Thank you. We have 4.
4. Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and have the Pledge of Allegiance, and Vice Chair Chavez, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely, ma'am. If you can, please stand and join me repeating, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America,
and
to the republic
for which it
which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so item number 4 is approval of minutes from October 25th VCCEC meeting. And so we don't have a quorum, so we can't go into the approval there. Any comments on the minutes? No changes. Okay. Let's see, public comment for items not on the agenda, and I do see that we have a few people on the Zoom call that are from the general public. Are there any that would like to make any comments at this time, as we're on item number 5? You could raise your hand or take yourself off of mute. All right, seeing none then at that time, let's move on then to item number 6. So it's item number 6 and 7 are part of the correspondence agenda, and one was correspondence from Dick Baldwin on October 27th, and the other one was correspondence from Vice Chair Daniel Chavez on November the 3rd. For the regular agenda, item number 8, Alejandra, I believe because it's a resolution, we don't have a quorum, so
Right.
we won't be able to cover that. Let's go on to item number 9, regular agenda. So
Madam Chair.
Alejandra, yes, Go
Sorry, I just had a quick question for that one, Alejandra. I know this council has always been Zoom because it was established during the
Right.
COVID phase. But and I also know it's a little wonky right now because we are starting to see cases and new cases of RSV and different things popping up. But will this council ever move into a person meeting, or will it always be destined to be virtually? Because I do know that some of the boards that I sit on, we lost because of the governor's orders. We can't do telephonic conference meetings without actually listing our addresses. So I don't want, the Brown Act is a very, I don't want to say dangerous thing, but it's very strict as to what can be done and what can't be done. So I know we haven't been listing our addresses because we've been doing the 30-day cycle, but how much more is the council going to deal with that before they're now listing their home addresses or places that they can meet at?
Correct, yeah, so we're currently looking into having a hybrid approach, meaning in that we'll look into that, not having to list people's address. Obviously, we don't want to have that, but we want to maybe have locations where people can join and kind of maybe a conference room on the east side of town or on the west side of town, and kind of having that where people can come in and join the meeting. I know there's been several meetings before that have been held in that aspect. So we're looking into now we're running into the issues of like securing the rooms, so we have those available. So that's something that we thought about 2023, want to make sure that we start booking and reserving rooms so we can offer that hybrid approach. I know our different offices are looking into those rules on what is it that, where we're having Zoom meetings, what do we have to list as the location for where the council members or board members are at. So we, the very least, we want to have a hybrid approach, because I know it's convenient when people don't have to travel to a location and kind of participate. So
Well,
2023, we want to address that.
I agree, but I was only asking because I know we've, as a council, brought it up before, and the opportunities to be able to meet people in person is something that it's powerful, and to being able to conversate and work together on those difficult topics is very important, and it allows the public the opportunity to see a face to the comments. So I hope in the future that happens. If that means 2 different locations meeting virtually, then so be it, but just something to think about. Thank you, Chair.
Great, thank you. All right, so let's go to item number 9, the update from County Executive Office. So Alejandra?
Yes, and I may be missing some items, catching everyone up on everything that our division has been doing. But just from our last meeting, we did open up a grants program that was approved by the Board of Supervisors. And we have our team member Heather here if there's any questions about our grants program. So we opened that up, and that's currently still open for any nonprofit schools to apply for a grant that we're offering for any environmental sustainability activities that they proposed. And also continuing on our outreach events for our different programs. I do know there was a request from Councilmember White to update on specific items to the Climate Emergency Council. I will do my best to update on all those. We are currently still short-staffed, so we haven't filled the position that was left by Clay. We're in the middle of interviews, so as soon as we're trying our hardest to kind of fill that position and get somebody on board as soon as possible. I know we're gonna run into the holidays, but we want to fill it as soon as we can. And just kind of following up on updates on what's going on with all the work that Climate Emergency Council has been doing. The educational program that was approved by the board, that's currently being implemented, but not implemented to the full extent that the proposal was. So it's being implemented in the sense that we're working with schools for outreach programs and doing more like small educational activities. We do not have like a full designed and implemented educational program that schools can take on and teach or design themselves. That still hasn't been fully designed and scoped out. That's one of the things that we can address once we have full staff back on board. The resolution, the well capping resolution, another item that was passed at the last board meeting. That's still part of the legislative staff, and kind of that's still there. They're still working with all of our lobbyists and elected officials and we'll bring any funding to the county when that's available. I can ask our legislative analyst to give a more detailed report on that. I don't have very specific information on what's happening with that. Then the other question was the GHG emission reduction policy on county buildings. I don't have a date yet when that's going to go to the board. I said once I get more support, then I can certainly kind of push that through and get that to the board. The existing building programs and the CEO's office, the question was, when is that going to go to the planning commission? As soon as I have a date, I will let everyone know. The landscape and equipment inventory request for information for GSA. I do not know what's going on with that. I probably will need to kind of catch up with Councilmember Wett or Councilmember Baldwin to ask on the latest information on that. My understanding was that the information had been provided, but maybe I'm missing something, so I will follow up with you and see what's the missing link there. And then also on the electric vehicle purchasing status for county departments, I don't know what the what missing information you might maybe still need from our departments. So any insight on that will be helpful. And I think those were the only requests that I received for updates and information. If there's any questions or any feedback.
Any questions from the council? Go ahead, Councilmember White.
Just a comment, you know, the CEC has taken the 6 actions that Alejandra just reported on, and you know, each one of them is a very important action that we have taken, and I understand that with Clay's absence, you know, the program has kind of slowed down in the CEO's office, but these are important things, and it would be helpful to get updates on each one of those as soon as we can.
Councilmember White, I appreciate you, you know, just keeping us on task and on target. So thanks. Any other questions or comments for county staff? Go ahead, Councilmember Baldwin.
Just a comment on the landscape proposal, landscape equipment proposal, is that the way it was structured and sent to, I think it's General Services, whoever does the gardening, is sort of a prioritized list of where you start in terms of gathering an inventory of equipment, then gathering inventory of fuel, and working to figure out what the emissions are. So the steps were all laid out in the proposal I sent, and all the county has to do is figure out how they want to do that. They can get a consultant, they can get a consulting firm. They can, if they have staff knows how to do that, they can do it in-house. There's a number of ways to do it, but it's really in their hands.
Okay.
At this time, the way it was sent to them.
Okay, I will make sure and follow up with GSA and get a status on that.
Okay, any other questions for staff? And any public comments? Okay, seeing none, so let's go on to one of the most important things that we have here on the agenda. It's item number 10, and it's the recognition of outgoing council members. And at this time, we have outgoing council members, Vice Chair Chavez and Council Member Baldwin. And so I want to express my sincere gratitude for the commitment that both of you made for the Climate Emergency Council, and your input and feedback and direction, as well as advice for any and all folks that were part of this council this last year and a half has been tremendous. And I want to recognize you for that, for your commitment and dedication to reducing greenhouse gas emissions for the county of Ventura, and really taking a look and drilling down into specific programs that we then posed for planning as well as the Board of Supervisors. So thank you. Thank you very much for your service to this council.
Yeah.
Any other comments from others on the council? Bill, yeah, go ahead, Councilmember White.
Yeah, I also, nice speech there, Sylvia. I would second that and thank Dick and Daniel for participating on the Climate Emergency Council. It's a very important effort and your participation has been important. I hope you will stay involved as you can in the future.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Chavez, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for the words and thank you. One thing that I will say that this council has shown me is, and we can all agree, the importance of ensuring that our environment is protected at all costs, our air quality, our water quality, our land, and ensuring that responsible development is being done. I have to say that I am impressed that my time on the council of learning of what the county is doing from all of their departments that I had the opportunity to speak with. There are great efforts in place, and I look forward to seeing more of those efforts play out as the years go by. Hopefully not years, but months, hopefully, if we get staffing. I would also say that it is different for me being on a council that is so new. Sitting on the Planning Commission in Oxnard, which has been around for years. And then you have quote unquote old guard teaching the younger ones how it rolls, as well as the Ventura County Transportation Commission and the Metrolink Board of Directors. It's something that has been around for such a long time. So we know how procedures and routines and everyone's place. I hope that this council is a little bit more defined as to what its roles are, because I believe this council does have the ability to be extremely strong and effective with their decisions. But I also believe that the supervisors need to define and maybe loosen the reins as to what exactly the recommendations can effectively improve, greenhouse gas reductions, our environment, so that we are able to enjoy our county that's tucked between two of the largest counties, LA and Santa Barbara. I would also finally say that any person that comes onto the council, you are going to learn a lot. I definitely have, but when making decisions or voting on recommendations, think of the larger number of people and the impacts that a recommendation could have. We don't want to cause negative impacts on the people that we're saying that we want to protect. So I appreciate serving with all of you. I saw Mick's email. I appreciate his guidance. He oftentimes was the one that I saw as the sound voice in our discussions. But I appreciate the opportunity to be able to serve on the council, and I look forward to seeing the good work that comes from the council in the months and years to come. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. We did create some certificates of appreciation. Now I can't seem to pull them out, but I will send them out as soon as we're done with the meeting, and I will be sure and send those out. Thank you. Thank you for your time and your support and insight to what's already been done by the Climate Emergency Council. It will certainly shape moving forward.
I appreciate that. And Madam Chair, I'm sorry, one last thing. I just want to say thanks to Dick, because thanks to him, when we were on that transportation tact, there were certain things that he opened my mind to that I wasn't aware of. Dick is literally a well full of knowledge and very appreciative. Unfortunately, I do have to jump off, but again, I just wanted to share my appreciation to the entire council and then to the public as well for their participation and their comments that they provided. So thank you, Alejandra, and to your staff. And thank you to everyone, and happy holidays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Thank you. Happy holidays to you. All right. Councilmember Baldwin, do you have any comments?
Oh, I mostly said it in my letter. And Phil and I talked about this. Mostly Phil was talking. But, the way this council was created, structured on paper, was to have a group of 10 people come in with ideas on how to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in the county's areas of jurisdiction, whether it be its own properties or the unincorporated areas. What's missing there is that whoever wrote that up doesn't understand the technology, the engineering that goes into figuring out how to reduce emissions, gaseous emissions, carbon dioxide, methane, or whatever. It's kind of a high-tech thing. I spent 45 years doing it. I gained a little bit of knowledge along the way, but the people that are being appointed don't have that background, and yet they're being asked to create ideas. And what they need is, what the structure in my mind either needs to be one where you have engineers and scientists figuring out how to do this and coming forward with proposals, or some kind of a staff is created, a technical staff of kind of like a consultant. It could be a consultant, it could be a staff person or persons who come up with the technical proposals and bring it to the council for policy direction. So this is a hybrid. This, in my mind, just isn't, for me, it's not working. I'll just leave it there.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from anyone else? I mean, we can actually open this up for a general public. At this time, we're on item number 10 for the agenda.
Councilmember White. Okay.
Yeah, I would just like to, it's okay. I would like to thank Dick for participating. He and I share having been former APCD directors and working to reduce air pollution emissions, which is the essence of what attacking climate change is all about, reducing greenhouse gas emissions. And I'm really gonna miss Dick. I wish he had stuck around, and I urged him to reconsider resigning. I understand that that the county staff have suffered from the absence of clay, and it's going to take a while to get back up to speed. Dick and I met with the county executive recently, Dr. Johnson, and I guess complained that not enough is being done by county staff, particularly in the CEO's office, to lead the effort to address climate change in the county. And in my mind, while I think the CEC has the potential to offer a lot of good ideas, it really should be a part of the county staff to lead this effort. And I think one of the things that the county needs to really take a hard look at is the existing organization in the CEO's office, which is by board direction, the lead agent for addressing climate change in the county, take a hard look at what's going on now in the Ventura County staff and compare that to some of the other county climate action efforts in other counties in the state. A good example would be Los Angeles County has a very strong climate action program, and I think that Ventura County could learn a lot from what's being done in other areas and beef up the effort here in Ventura County. The county shouldn't be relying on the Climate Action Council to come up with the ideas needed to achieve the climate goals in the county. This really, as Dick just pointed out, this really should be coming from the staff. And my personal opinion is the staff really needs to be increased with some strong leadership roles to carry this out in the county. Again, I want to thank Dick for participating. He and I are the only two people on the council who've come forward with recommendations. I'm going to miss that camaraderie that I've had with Dick, and I hope he'll stay involved informally in the future. I know he has his heart in it. Thank you, Dick.
Thank you.
Well said, Councilmember White. Thank you so much. All right. Well, then let's move on to item number 11. I wanted to take this time to talk about the vacancies that both Vice Chair Chavez and Councilmember Baldwin lead, and that would be vacancies of our at-large members. And so just a little bit of time on our agenda to discuss that. I know in the packet you received the information about what the application has looked like. And of course, this organization just started just a little less than 2 years ago when we first met. And then one of the tasks we had was to recruit members from the at-large community to serve. And so that's who Chavez and Baldwin represented. So you do have in the agenda packet the application that we have used in the past. And Alejandro, do you have other comments to make at this time about the announcement and application and the process possibly that we could follow?
Yes, we can certainly follow the same process that we did last time, and we created a page, a website where people could either download the application and apply online. We can certainly open that up again. We trying to think back. I know we did some sort of press release and kind of advertise on the opportunity to be part of the council. So we can certainly do that again. We'll welcome any support from current former members to kind of spread that information out, and we can open it up. We open it up for, I believe it was a month, at least a month, for applications to come in. And then we received all the applications. We sent them to the current, what was then the current council members, and they reviewed. And then I believe we had 15 or so applications, and we gave each member, I believe it was like 3 minutes to kind of do their introduction presentation of what they did. And then we had a question session. So we can certainly do that, repeat that same process, or any other suggestions. We can see how we can try to promote the best recruitment possible.
Okay, Councilmember White.
One suggestion would be to put that application on the CEC website. I communicated, or somebody communicated with me who was interested in being on the CEC, couldn't find it there. So let's make sure that it is available on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a great idea for purposes too that we're heading into the holidays. I would suggest that maybe we have it out on available for like a month and a half or until, like say, the middle of January, so that we can hopefully have a good pool of candidates to consider by then, focusing in on, just those holidays and when people may not be in town, to make sure their application is available and posted.
Okay.
Anything else, any other additions there that we should consider for this?
What
Go
about
ahead.
the rest of us are, as I remember, we're on the appointed by board members for 2-year terms. So those of us who were originally appointed are coming to the end of their terms, and so that needs to be reassessed, I guess, by those board members. There are some new board members involved since this originally happened. So is there any conversation, Alejandra, about that?
Yes, so all board members prior to the election results were notified of the vacancies coming up. So they are welcome to make new appointments or reassign if there's, I know we have some minimal number of board meetings coming up. If there's no new appointments there, you continue to be on the Climate Emergency Council. Now with new board members coming on board, we'll need to reach out again and communicate, there's this Climate Emergency Council and there are the current members, and it's up to the new board members to make those appointments or continue with the members that have already appointed. So we'll reach out again. But the current board members know that their terms are terming and they are welcome to make new appointment or continue the appointment. So that's on their plate and on their radar.
And officially then that happens at the next meeting or possibly in January, Alejandra?
Yes, I took a look at the draft agenda and I didn't see any appointments, any new appointments being made to the Climate Emergency Council. There might be some that come up at the final agenda. If those happen either next week or the week after that, or board meetings, and obviously we can have those be appointed as soon as possible, or if they happen in January, then we can appoint at the next Climate Emergency Council meeting.
So because these were appointments for 2 years, if we're reflecting back on what we did last year at this time, it wouldn't be there because we just started to meet, I believe it was February of 2021. So we're a new organization. So I suspect then that we can go into item number 12 because I think this is where that information sits. So let's finish up item number 11 and then move into item number 12, because I think, Phil, that's where we'll take up this other one. So item 11 was at-large recruitment discussion, and of those suggestions, those were all really good suggestions made to Alejandra and her team. Anything else that anyone feels that would help promote the opportunity for at-large members to or candidates to consider being at-large members of the CEC? Anything else that comes to mind? All right.
I'm just wondering if you can get it to universities or something like that, where you might have some people who are sort of science oriented applying. I don't know if that works or not. I don't have to recruit. That's history.
All right, thank you. We'll look into that.
I
All
have
right,
a question, excuse me.
yes. Councilmember
I
Muller.
have a question, and originally was there a press release done by the county to advertise the openings of the at-large members for this committee, this council?
Yes, that was a press release.
So, I mean, that could happen again, or maybe is happening.
Yes, yeah, we can do that again.
Okay.
And yes, I see Councilmember Farah. You have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just gonna say, I know somebody who may be interested that I can contact. She's a recent graduate for environmental science, and she lives in Oxnard Shores. So, I don't know. Does she have to live in the city of Ventura?
For our large members, they don't have to be
Okay,
anywhere
I
specific.
know she just moved to Oxnard Shores, so that she's somebody I could ask. We kind of go back and forth with a lot of environmental things going on with Ventura Land Trust and things in Santa Barbara. So she's a great asset of information as well as educated in the area.
Yeah, I believe the only requirement would be is that they are within Ventura County
Okay,
because they're at large and they're chosen by this council.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions or comments on item number 11? Any comments from the general public? So you can raise your hand or take yourself off of mute. If you have any input here for item number 11. Okay, so seeing none, so let's move into item number 12, council member comments and future agenda items. And so council member White, your comment about the appointments or reappointments of individuals and or then some of the new board of supervisors that have either taken their seat or will be taking their seat soon. You had questions on that, correct?
Yeah, I'm just curious. I sent Matt Levere a note this morning saying, do you want me to continue? So waiting to hear back from him. He may have something else in mind, I don't know.
Yeah, good question. I know that with Supervisor Kelly Long, she reappointed me and that took place, I believe, in October for the Board of Supervisors. So that it could be, whenever they can get it on the agenda for that. And my understanding too is Alejandra and I have talked about it, is that if the council members not replaced, then it's assumed that they will continue. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So that could possibly be, Phil, that you will continue unless there's a replacement.
Well, I'm willing if Supervisor Levere is interested in having me continue.
Yeah, okay.
And we will communicate with new supervisors coming in about the Climate Emergency Council, and if there is an option for them to continue with the current members or appoint if they have somebody else in mind.
Okay.
Thank you. And Councilmember Para, I know your hand is up. Do you have a comment here for item number 12?
Maybe it's a legacy hand up.
Maybe it's where, yeah, her hand was up for the prior item. Okay. One of the things that I want to mention here is that for the future agenda, do we meet in December? And so the December Board of Supervisors will meet, I believe, on the 6th and the 20th, or 6th and the 13th. And so they won't be meeting after that for the remainder of December. And so we could effectively meet December 20th or not meet until January. And I wanted to pose that for this body to consider when we do actually then meet next. Any suggestions? Go ahead, Councilmember White.
I'm willing to meet in December. It's awkward, of course, with Christmas, but and I guess there would be an argument to be made for just skipping December and waiting till January, I guess I'm okay with that also, but I'm willing to set aside time next month.
Okay. Councilmember Para, what, do you have any comments about meeting in December?
Excuse me. Either way, I'm fine meeting in December or January.
Okay. Alejandra, would you be able to poll the council members to see if they would be available on the 20th?
Yes, I can send out a poll to the members and get feedback on availability.
Okay, because if we don't have a quorum, then it may be a moot point to meet in December. But if we can, if it's best just to wait till January, I believe that might be the time frame that we'll
Okay.
use.
Okay, yeah, I can send out a poll and get some dates. I mean, some
Okay.
confirmation.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any other items for the council members or future agenda items that we can consider here on item 12? Councilmember White?
I think to follow up on what I mentioned earlier about trying to find out what other counties are doing on climate action in California, and I think cities and counties would be even more a better definition of what we need to find out. In my opinion, Ventura County is falling behind where it needs to be on climate action. And I think we could learn a lot from seeing what other jurisdictions, counties, and cities are doing. And so I would hope that we could have a robust discussion and maybe some preliminary information at our next meeting or two. To me, that is the most important thing for Ventura County to be doing on climate action is to pick up the pace on climate action and county staff. So I'd hope we get that on the agenda.
Okay, thank you. And Councilmember Baldwin?
So that triggered a memory. I receive a lot of technical documents, reports, what have you, and all of my connections. And it's clear throughout California and even in other states that there are cities, some are very aggressive cities, doing a lot of great things, a lot of cities doing nothing, and the same with counties, where some counties are going after it and other counties either are doing a lot of stuff and keeping it very quiet, or they're not doing anything because you don't hear anything about being reported or published anyway as to what they're doing. But there are a number that are active, and they're blowing their horn, and they're known in the science community, the global warming science community. And so it would be good to look around and see who's doing what, find successful city and county programs to learn what they're doing. They're out there.
Absolutely, yeah. So I like those suggestions. Very
So
good, thank you.
Just to get a little more clarity. So suggestions to find other programs and kind of compare and contrast on what they're doing and what maybe we could be doing, or also comparing their staffing, like what's their level of staffing compared to us, or
Oh,
what's the
you had it right the first time.
first time? Okay, so the programs that they have.
Yes.
Yeah, in my opinion, Ventura County could be a model for climate action. You know, it it has done a lot, you know, it has an adopted climate action plan, and things certainly are happening. We have to be proud of that. But certainly more needs to be done. This is a worldwide problem, and Ventura County needs to do its fair share, and we're behind where we need to be. So learning what other cities and counties are doing could help us figure out what changes could be made here in the county to do better.
You know, suggestion could be that there would be different points throughout the year that we would invite them to be a presenter and talk about some of the highlights of, you know, where they were, where they are now, and, you know, and what steps they're taking. So it'd just be looking at some best practices, I think, would be helpful.
Okay.
Go ahead, Councilmember Baldwin.
Two thoughts. One is of those agencies that are doing things, the California Resources Board is doing a lot. They're kind of leading the nation, really. They have been up until the last couple of years. But what can be done on the local front? Phil, this is Phil triggered my brain, my memory, is I'm going to blow my horn here for a second, but in the 20-year period from 1980 through 1999, Ventura County had the fastest rate of ozone progress in the nation. I know that you can make progress with the engineering staff that's available in this county, but it is a technical problem. It is very technical.
Okay, thank you for that. Anything else here on item number 12? And any comments from the public? All right. So with that, then we are at item number 13, which is adjournment. And so we may be meeting December the 20th. If not, then it won't be until January 2023. And January would be when there would be effectively changes. If there were any changes, adding some members and or substitutions for others. So with that, then I wish everybody a happy holiday and enjoy the time that we have here in December. Hopefully we'll see you on the 20th, and if not, until 2023. So thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Sylvia. Good meeting.
Bye.